Oh, come on. Don't give me that same old lame excuse again. The devil made me do it. Come off it. What a load of baloney. Come on, hold your hand out. Let's see. Oh, it looks as if you've been dipping your greedy fingers into that tomato sauce bottle again. Come here. Let's have a closer look. You're worse than that little boy in Terry Scott's song, My Brother. Come on, hold your hand out. It's... hang on a minute. That's not tomato sauce on your fingers. It looks like... But I'm out of here. Hi guys, welcome to another video. Hope you're all keeping well. Now in this video I'd like to review a Blu-ray that I watched last night, and that Blu-ray is called The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. Now I'll just give you a little bit of background about the movie in case you haven't seen it, and I'll talk a little bit more about it and give you my thoughts on the movie as a whole. Yeah. Okay, so The Conjuring 3, the Devil Made Me Do It. It's a 2021 American horror supernatural thriller starring Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, both reprising their roles as Ed and Lorraine Warren. And it's based on a story by James Wan and David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick. So basically, I don't want to give too much away about the movie. It was supposed to come out like a year earlier, but due to the COVID pandemic, it was put back, to 2021. Yeah. Okay. So I say I don't want to give away too much away about the movie in case you haven't seen it. But basically, it's basically serves as a sequel, to the first two Conjuring movies. Yeah. And it's set a few years after the events of the second movie. It's actually set in 1981, to be precise, and it opens with a rather creepy, disturbing, exorcism on an 8-year-old boy called David Glassell. Now, the story it's loosely based on natural case, from 1981, the infamous "The Devil Made Me Do It" case, which sets a precedence, in American legal history, as it was the first time ever a person actually charged with a murder. Now, the person I'm referring to is a guy called Arnie Cheyenne Johnson. Yeah, I say it was the first time in legal history that a person, a doctor accused of murder, put the defence up as a demonic possession. Yeah, so as I say, it sets a precedence in that, in terms of the legal aspect of it. Yeah. Now, although the exorcism seems to go well for the young boy David, and they get the demon. Well, they seem to have got the demon out of him. It doesn't go so well, but a couple of the people who were present, at the exorcism, with the priest who's just performed the ritual, because for one thing, Ed Warren, he's actually attacked by the demon, and it brings a heart attack on, and he ends up in a comatose state and rushed to hospital. And as if all that isn't enough, Arn himself also comes off very badly here, but he drags David away and invites the demon to enter his own body. Take me, and then there's all hell breaks loose, if you'll pardon the pun. Yeah. So and that's where I'll leave it, because I don't want to give away too much more of the movie in case you haven't seen it. Yeah. Okay. So now on to my personal thoughts on The Conjuring 3 as a whole. Yeah, it was okay, but I did think it was the weaker of the three movies. The three Conjuring movies. It had its moments, particularly in the opening with that creepy exorcism scene I just spoke about, and the omnipresent menace of this new character they introduced, the occultist, who seems to be kind of like a female witch. Yeah. So he said he tried to do something different. Too, by moving away from the fixed place, the fixed place haunted house scenarios of the first two Conjuring movies, and giving the Warrens a wider sphere, more range in which to operate and do their investigations, if you will. I also like the little subplot as well, where the Warrens go to investigate the stabbing of a young girl who's been stabbed 22 times. So there's a little subplot thrown in as well. Yeah, and as I say, they gives the Warrens a wider sphere in which to operate. It takes it away from the confined space of the haunted house scenarios of the first 2 movies and that. Yeah, and also incorporates 1 or 2 courtroom scenes that were a little reminiscence of the exorcism of Emily Rose, if you've seen that movie. And both Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson were, again, really, really on the money in this movie, you know, reprising the roles as the Warrens and that. Done a fantastic job. Both fine actors, very, very consummate actors and that, yeah. Can't fault them at all. I say, really on the money, reprising the roles. And the movie also had a good supporting cast as well, in terms of the family members who were being played by this curse caused by a witch's totem, apparently. Also, the actors who played the police officers and the old priest, the retired priest, they were very, very good as well. Yeah, great supporting cast. Yeah. There are a few jump scares, but as you know, if you watch my videos, you know I go more for a good, solid storyline and excuse me, a good, solid storyline and interesting characters. You know, multi-depth characters, rather than the cheap ghost train style scares that are becoming all too common now in movies of this ilk. The cinematography was very good, beautiful picture, lovely setting and that, you know, can't fault that at all. Obviously, like I say, like most movies of this kind that are based on true cases, they did embellish and over-dramatise some key events in the story, you know, to make it more interesting and gripping and enthralling, which is perfectly acceptable. You know, suppose if you want your horror movies to have that extra bit of oomph in them. And the possession scenes themselves were, of course, quite disturbing and eerie. You know, very creepy, and especially when you consider, you know, these exorcism scenes, like a lot of them are based on actual cases and that. Yeah. And I should mention here that there's another particularly disturbing aspect of this exorcism case, because both at the end of the movie and in the extras, you know, the special features, they play an actual tape recording of the real case, you know, when the little boy's getting exorcised, and you can hear the parent, the mother, saying, "Get out of my son, get out of my son," and in response you get this like demonic guttural voice, which is barely audible, but it's very, very creepy, guys. So I'm warning you about that. If those sorts of things disturb you, you might want to, you know, bypass that. But very, very creepy, you know, very, very, at times, quite harrowing to listen to, yeah. And very, very creepy to listen to, yeah. So, yeah, so as I say, yeah, it had its moments, The Conjuring 3. Yeah, it's I'm not saying it's a bad movie, but I'm not saying it's a great movie either. It's a pretty average you know, psychological, you know, a paranormal American horror thriller. You know, it's I say it's got its moments and that, but I thought the story could have been a bit more sort of like added to make it just that little bit more enthralling, to be honest. But I can't fault the performances, guys. As I say, Vera Farmiga, Patrick Wilson, and Vera Farmiga. You know, as I say, they're really on the money in their respective roles and that. And it's got about 4 special features on here, guys. Yeah, if you want to freeze your cameras there and take those in. And there's a couple of shots from the movies, of course. Vera Farmiga there, fantastic actress. Yeah, Patrick Wilson. Yeah, as I say, guys, it was okay, you know, nothing to rave over. I don't think I'll be watching it again, unlike the first 2, which I've kept in my collection, and I can watch again and again. But there was something about this movie that didn't quite tick all the boxes for me, if you like. As I say, it had its moments and that, but I wasn't exactly on the edge of my seat, you know. And as I say, the exorcism scene was quite a big sort of like a big blast to start with, you know. It was quite creepy and quite disturbing, and the contortion, the way the boy's body contorted and that, you know, yeah, very, very creepy in that, and the voice and that, and the way his face changed, and also, you know, the guy who got possessed, you know, his face was quite creepy and that, especially when he was incarcerated in jail and that, and you know, he was changing and that, you know. And of course, this new character, what they've introduced into this movie, the occultist, there's a kind of a mystery about her. Yeah, but I don't want to go on too much about it. As I say, I'll let you, if you haven't seen the movie, I'll let you see it for yourself. And but yeah, all in all, I quite enjoyed it. But as I say, it's not one of the best horror movies, you know, and I don't think I will be keeping it. It's got a lovely slipcover, as you can see, but there's no reversible artwork, guys. Yeah, so I think I will be putting it on eBay and that, yeah. So okay, so onto a rating now. So I will give The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. I'll give it about 7 out of 10. Yeah, it was a pretty average run of the mill, you know, American supernatural chiller. Nothing to write home about. Not as good as the first two. And yeah, so that's my thoughts on this latest installment of the Conjuring franchise. Have you seen this movie? What did you think of it? Let me know, you know, in the comments down below. I'd be very interested, you know, to hear, you know, what you thought of it. Yeah. Yeah. So oh yeah, before I go, I'm just going to leave it a little thought. Just imagine if they were both alive, Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, if they'd have starred in one of these Conjuring movies. Oh, how awesome that would have been, yeah. And I'm sure they would have been offered a role, guys, if they'd have still been here, yeah. Maybe Christopher Lee could have played a high priest or something, yeah. Or Peter Cushing, he could have joined being a farmer guy, and you know, Patrick Wilson, the Warrens and that, fighting the evil, yeah. Yeah, just think, yeah. Yeah, God rest their souls. Yeah, two fantastic actors. Yeah. But getting back to this, guys. Yeah. So that's my review of The Conjuring 3. The Devil Made Me Do It. I hope you enjoyed it. And as I say, you know, if you've seen the movie, comment down below. And what do you think of the Conjuring movies in general? I'd be very interested to hear, you know, your thoughts. Have you got a particular favourite? How do you rate them? You know, do you like the Annabelle movies as well? Yeah. Leave your comments down below, guys. Always replying that. Always love talking about movies with my fellow YouTubers. Yeah, okay, so that concludes my review of The Conjuring 3. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, what's left of it. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you all again soon. Thanks, guys.